Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Eric Pacheco, and I'd like to welcome you to the very first episode of the Rooted in Riv podcast. I am your host, creator, director, producer, all that stuff you can name, I do. Currently a third year student here at Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communications at Arizona State University. Formerly, I was editor in chief of Viewpoints, the award winning student run newspaper at Riverside City College. I'm carrying on this show from a podcast that I started back at RCC with a similar name, Down in the Dirty Rib, where I talked all things RCC sports. On Rooted in the Rib, we'll dive into the world of sports with an incredible lineup of guests, each bringing their own stories. So without further ado, welcome to Rooted in the Rib. I'm pleased to be joined now by my first guest, former UCLA quarterback and graduate with an extensive playing coaching career overseas from France to Japan, and now stepping in to take over as head coach for his father, who led the Tigers for 15 years, the new head coach of the Riverside City College football team, Kevin Kraft. Thank you for joining me today.
Hi, Eric. Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
So, Coach, let's get right to it. You were officially named the head coach on June 18th after a long hiring process. How was that process like, and how have things gone in your first summer and now getting ready to get the season going here?
Yeah, it was a really difficult process for myself, the whole coaching staff, and especially the players who were returning to the team from last year. I think that the players deserve a lot of credit for what's gone on around here because there was a lot of uncertainty. A lot of our players were getting recruited by other JCs, whether legally or not legally. And we were getting a lot of pressure externally and internally on the players. And I think it speaks volumes about the guys that we have and the coaching staff that we have, that these players wanted to play for us. They wanted to play for the coaches that they had committed to coming to play for at high school, transferred to, and really wanted to be around this program if it remained with the coaches in place. And, that's not an easy thing for us to overcome. And the summertime, I mean, it's been a difficult process because we're trying to catch up on 6 and 7 months worth of work in a 1 week window, because my first official day was 6 days before our first practice. So I think that's been we've been playing a bit of catch up there, but I think that the guys have responded well. The standards and the practices and the culture of what we want as a team has really stayed true to what we built the program on since 2010 when I joined my dad in his first year. So I think we're all excited to kind of keep that kind of thing going around here.
Absolutely. You talked about the team, the group, the coaches, the players kind of pushing together despite these adversity that you guys have dealt with. What's the overall expectations and outlook as you guys get set for week 1 this Saturday against Long Beach City?
Yeah, I think the whole focus of the team has remained on ourselves. We got to keep the focus on ourselves. It's not like a 4-year university where you kind of know what the other team has and you can look at who they picked up in the transfer portal. We don't exchange film. The first week, we don't, necessarily know what other teams have until a couple days before, when you get to look at their roster for the first time. So I think it's more about what we want to do as a team than what we're going to do, in terms of a game plan.
Absolutely. I mentioned at the top, your extensive playing and coaching career overseas. What is the biggest difference for you that you have seen in coaching at the junior college level than the other playing and coaching experiences you've had elsewhere?
Yeah, well, I've had a lot of experience with this level. My dad, and I kind of grew up around community college football. I've seen it my whole life. And then I experienced it myself because I was a 4.24 transfer, meaning I went to San Diego State out of high school, as a starter there. When I wanted to transfer, there was no portal. I went to the community college level, became the California State Player of the Year, and had the good fortune to have a scholarship to UCLA, became the starting quarterback there. So I got to experience it as a player. I've experienced it as a coach. My first stint out of UCLA, when I turned down the quarterback coach job there with Norm Chow and Rick Neuheisel, because I wanted to still play. So I got to come here with my dad in 2010 when we took over the program, and then cut my own teeth abroad. When I came back last year, I had a chance to experience it as a coordinator. Where it's really all on me, and I like it. It's not like I think a lot of the 4-year coaches are getting a little bit of taste of what it's like at the 2-year level, where you have turnover of almost your entire team every single year, and so I think that's something that we're kind of used to here. So I'm excited about the opportunity. It's good level football. It always has been. That's what really draws me to it. It's enjoyable.
Mhm. You've already mentioned your dad a couple of times. It's kind of a topic that's unavoidable, right? Given the
Yeah.
circumstances. I'd like to share an image real quick if I'm able to. So I want this image struck me from a story written by Dennis Pope for the Press Enterprise last season. This image in particular by Terry Pearson, kind of, you're out there doing your job, obviously, coaching the offense, doing whatever you may have been doing. And there's, Tom in the foreground kind of looming over you, right? And, even if he wasn't coming back as an actual coach on the staff, his presence was always going to be looming over you, right? Like I said, given the circumstances. I mean, how do you kind of deal with that maybe pressure, maybe the doubters that are coming from the outside, given what RCC has been, what your dad helped build it to? How do you kind of deal with that sort of thing?
I think anybody who takes over would have taken this job. Anybody who would have stepped in here at Riverside would probably have felt way more pressure than I would. I think I'm uniquely situated to handle that more so than anybody else would. Because number one, I mean, that's my dad. If anybody's rooting for me, it's him. And number two, he's still coaching with us. So it's kind of like, it's not like a lot of things have changed in terms of what we're trying to accomplish around here. And he's the guy that taught me the game. He's the guy that, really formed the way I think about the game. So I don't feel a lot of pressure to, make this thing something or create my own legacy. I don't believe that that's why anybody takes the community coaching positions. You don't get into this level of coaching to create a legacy. You get into this level of coaching because it's about the kids. It really is. Nobody cares about, community college football like they do about NFL. There's not these big Hall of Fames that people put on TV. You get turnover every year. And the main goal is to try to develop these young men into good people, good students, and then transfer them on so that they can continue their playing and education. So, I think it's something that I enjoy. I've really enjoyed so far trying to make it my own. And the focus is really on these guys that we have under us right now, this year's team, more than anything that happened in the past. And that's always been true of this program, because I've always been involved in it. It's never been about, how much we win or this and that. That stuff is nice. It takes care of itself though, when your focus is on the process, when your focus is on each game and every team and every kid that you're coaching. So I think that's kind of where my mind and my focus is.
Absolutely. And, like we said, your dad is going to be sticking around as associate head coach, quarterbacks coach. The process was that kind of decided, and how do you feel like that dynamics kind of going to kind of work with the roles seemingly reversed from last season?
Yeah, I think it's he retired and he got a chance to kind of sit around at home. I think he's still sharp he still sees the game fast. He definitely, just because he retired doesn't mean he's old and washed up. We went out. They were national champions in 23. He gave me a lot more responsibilities in 24. Here we are in 25. He still has a gift, and I think he wants to honor the gift. He enjoys the game. He enjoys being around the kids. He enjoys being around the coaches. And if you can do that and you have a gift, you should honor it. And I think that's the way he felt. I think he wanted to support me. And it made a lot of sense for us to kind of try to bring him back around. The guys like having him around. It's been enjoyable so far. So I don't think like I said, there's not a lot of pressure. Some strange dynamic. I'm his son. He wants to see me succeed. It's not like he's looking at me like I didn't know what he's doing. He wants to help me, and I think I have the luxury of having the winningest coach in Southern California history as my assistant head coach, quarterback coach, and I can lean on him for a lot of advice or situations or the goings on around here on campus. He's been doing it for a while, and I can say, hey, who did you talk to on campus for this? And he can direct me. So he's been an excellent resource for me and for us and for the guys. He's a plethora of knowledge and experience. So it only makes our coaching staff stronger and me better. And that's kind of the way I view it. I'm excited to have him on.
Yeah. Kind of switching gears here to the on-field players. The past couple of quarterbacks at RCC have been really successful. Retzlaff, Jordan Barton, and then last season with Brady Jones, who helped set all kind of records for the offense. Who's the starting quarterback that you guys have, identified for this Saturday? And, what kind of pressure may they be facing trying to succeed those list of names that I just named off?
Well, I think when Retzlaff was here, he did it. He kind of became the starter pretty fast when he was in here. Those guys have all kind of battled. Last year, we had a three-way battle at the quarterback position that went all the way through to the first scrimmage. And then we kind of decided on Brady. But this year we've had four guys who have been battling. Brian Wilson, Jared Doolittle, Chris Cooper, and Noah Sandoval. They're all battling right now, and they've all gotten a lot of equal reps all the way through. And we're still repping all four of them in practice. And so no one quarterback is getting all those reps right now. And I think that's the battle that they're facing is you go into a game early in the season and you've been sharing a lot of reps. That's a difficult thing to get on the same page, get in the rhythm of the game, get in the rhythm of the play caller. And so I think that's the biggest hurdle that those guys are facing right now. It's just the fact that all four of those guys have improved so much and they're all getting reps and none of them are really getting all the reps to get just that 10% better. So, I don't know if I'm ready to say who's going to be the starter, but we're definitely excited about all four of those guys. I think a couple of them are kind of separated a little bit. We might start out with one or two. We're not opposed to play multiple quarterbacks in the game, though, and just kind of see where it goes from there.
Right. You said multiple quarterbacks there. Do you think it's kind of like a game situation? Maybe you guys are looking to run the ball more, so you guys go with this guy. Maybe you need to air it out a little bit more. Maybe, you're just seeing something in defense. You feel more comfortable with the guy, or is it just,
we're more interested in just who's executing the offense, who gives us the best chance in the moment, and is going to go out and be able to play the position. We want to play the position through those guys with our play calling. So I think that whoever's kind of getting in a rhythm can stay in a rhythm and keep us on the field is where we want to go. And I don't think we need to really curtail the play calling one way or another with any of those guys because they all have a lot of skill. They can all throw the ball really well. And, they're all athletic enough to move around. So I don't feel like I need to tailor it any which way with run game or pass with any of them.
And, to the rest of the offense, like I said, like I mentioned earlier, record-breaking numbers last year. A couple of guys obviously departed, as always, in junior college. Can you talk about maybe some of those returners and newcomers you guys have coming back? There's Marquise Cox,
Yeah,
wide receiver.
yeah, yeah,
A couple of your running backs coming back as well.
yeah, definitely. I'll start up front with the O line because I think that's kind of where it all starts. We're returning uh, Trinidad Wilson. He's All-American left tackle. He's going to be a big part of what we're doing. Gives us a lot of protection on that blind side. David Trujillo is also a returning starter. He was our left guard last year, and then we lost 3 sophomores, so we're looking to replace those guys. We have some guys who are coming back and returning. We got a lot of really good freshmen that we've been working in there. At the tight end position, we had a Marco Salazar. He gray shirted for us last year. He didn't start his eligibility and had a heck of an off season. Changed his body, put on a lot of weight. He's been really physical. He can catch the ball. He can run. We got another freshman, 2 freshmen really, tight ends that we really like. Hector Garcia from Cajon and Dominic Bechtel, who's from Apple Valley. Real athletic tight ends, can run and catch. Bo Bruins is returning for us. It's kind of our Swiss Army knife. He was the conference utility player of the year last year. He's kind of our do-it-all guy. At running back, Marquise Monroe is he had a lot of yards last year. He became one of our dynamic backs last year, late in the season. So I'm looking for a big year out of him. We've got a couple other guys who are coming back, Jonathan Marshall and Kyle Tyler. Those 2 guys from Kaiser, they've had a really good.
Unfortunately, we lost Coach Kevin Kraft there at the back end, but be sure to check out the Tigers this Saturday against Long Beach City College at 6 p.m. live on Riverside TV or at Wheelock Stadium in Riverside. And be sure to follow me on social media on X at Eric Pacheco ASU, Instagram at the Eric Pacheco, and on YouTube, hit like and subscribe on this podcast episode at Eric Pacheco Pod. Thank you to everyone for watching. Thank you to Coach Kevin Kraft for being my first guest. Have a great day.